This is a video that nobody wishes to do. In a lot of ways, nobody's probably going to really wish to watch. It's been a lot of things going on, a lot of things on my mind. In fact, I actually meant to have this video out before. I've just been taking my time at processing all of my own emotion about it. So, this video is about JD. And it's taken me a while to actually get to the point of making it. One reason is I kind of wish for JD to do the right thing. Talk with me in private and talk about some of the issues that are actually going on. He won't do that. Just so that everybody knows, this is after I got the Just Conspiracy Telegram channel back. JD transferred the ownership. And this isn't enjoyable or brings me any type of pleasure. But it's something that has to be done. Something that has to be done for myself, and something that my Creator has told me to do. So whether I like it or not, when that man tells me to do something, I do it. Now, what I'm going to talk about in this video is basically what's public, for the most part, and all of the claims that I kind of make about myself or the pages. I'll go into that later on a future date. So let's start off with JD kind of announcing that he was going to give me my Telegram channel back. He did this on the chat between Joni, JJ, and Christine when they all had their chat together. And there were some people who were commenting, and I think going back over the comments, now I might have misconstrued what they were actually talking about, which is why texting is a poor form of communication. So, because going back and looking at it, I feel like I could get different context out of what they were saying. But at the time, with all the emotion going on, I acted in a different way. Now, the thing that kind of is disturbing and upsetting about this is the fact that people are kind of giving JD praise for doing what he should have done. In fact, for doing what he really should have done in private. If you want to get real honest about it. And everything we talk about, everything we teach is about how to be a man. And the purpose and reason for teaching this is so that we, as man and woman and as people, can govern ourselves without the government. And if we can't talk to each other in private and work things out in private, because a lot of people are saying, this is a private issue, y'all should try and work it out in private. Well, if the other side's not willing to talk, it basically makes that impossible. It basically makes that impossible. So, the reason why I feel so annoyed by people talking or almost kind of praising JD for doing what he should have done anyways, is because to somebody who's doing something wrong, this is really a reward system. Oh, look at how many people are telling me I'm doing the right thing. I must be on the right side. I must be doing the right... Look, nobody's telling John he's doing the right thing. Nobody. You know, and it's like, oh, just because he allows my Telegram channel to still exist, and he hasn't been so tyrannical as to take it down, we should thank him for that. We should be like, yay, go JD. You know, every now and then, it would be encouraging to get some encouragement. And I would like to say, you know, bring this kind of up, like, I have been getting some encouragement. I mean, one of the platforms that I never allowed anybody else to touch is the Just Conspiracy on YouTube. And praise the heavens, I haven't lost that. You know, but I have to watch myself being censored on YouTube. And I never thought that the people in this group, the people in this movement, would go to a page where they made you self-censor. Because if people on their page talk about me at all, they get kicked off. If they say that I'm doing the right thing on their page, they get kicked off. It's all public. It's all public. Now, the last video I talked about the government and the difference between a tyrannical government and an open and free government. And when I posted that, I guess about 3:30, JD wrote at about 8 o'clock, I will hand over this channel after it is cleared to transfer the ownership. Other than that, I do not wish for you to continue posting material from the private rooms that I run. Unfortunately, someone was in them that shared various private discussions, and I tried to clean whoever out. I apologize to anyone that I may have removed that did not have anything to do with the league. To end, I wish to express no consent to you sharing any of my other private communications into the public. And if you wish to see how I answered them, you can go on to the Just Conspiracy Telegram chat. It's all public record. So, but I've had a little more time to think about it. I'm going to answer it like this. You know, I believe it was Michael Cohen who was Trump's attorney. And when his office got raided by the FBI, Trump and Michael were saying, oh, you can't get into those files. Attorney-client confidentiality. Attorney-client confidentiality. That's a little bit stronger than privacy, JD. And here's what they said. They said, when you commit civil fraud or criminal fraud, that confidentiality doesn't exist anymore. So, basically the way I see it is that, and I know that we have a disagreement about this, we can try and settle it later, but the way I see it is that page was made for me. It wasn't just made for me, it was made for my teachings. It wasn't just made for my teachings, it was made for other people to find my teachings. And by some type of fraud or deceit or something that was going on behind my back, it was taken right up from under me. So was my admin ability on common law shamanism. So was my ability to see Cave Breakers, the Cave Breakers Lounge, Jibber Jabber, any of that stuff that would have never been created without my work, without my energy, without my movement, without my teachings. And then not only was I frauded by having all of that taken away from me, but the people you kicked out of those rooms, the people that you kicked out just for having any association with me, the people that you asked to leave just for having any association with me, frauded them too. And it frauds all of the people who are looking for the message, and you have taken it upon yourself to be the middleman between me and that message. The way I see it is it frauds them all. And nobody had a choice. Nobody said, like, okay, let's take a vote. Let's do a poll. Let's see if we can get consensus from somebody. No, that just didn't happen. So maybe rather than apologize, because the words by itself, they don't really mean anything without some sort of action, maybe a man of the Creator, a man who understood what it was like to be a man, would repent. Maybe they would repent. And the way that you would repent is by trying to make it right. By trying to restore those relationships. By trying to make sure that that message gets through the way it's supposed to. That's the way I think somebody would repent. I doubt that they would just say, apologies. I don't know if my Creator would take that as repenting, because if you truly repent for something and you're asking forgiveness, it's not enough that you just ask forgiveness. You have to ask what you have to do to earn that forgiveness. You have to try and make it right the best way that you can. And I learned this when I was a lot younger. I'm actually going to share a very personal story for me about this, and that is when I was young and dumb, about 16 years old. My sister had given my mom a bunch of money for a car stereo so that my mom could make the purchase on a credit card. I guess my sister actually made the purchase. Anyways, I found that money and I took it. I stole it. I felt really, really bad. And that's the money that I used to start the business that I was in, that I quit when Malcolm was born. So $420 to $420,000. And when I was about 26 or 27, and my Creator was talking to me, he said, JC, you gotta repent. And I was like, all right, man, I'll repent. Will you forgive me? He was like, that's not enough. You gotta go to your mom. You have to tell her what happened. You have to tell her how bad you feel. And you have to ask for her forgiveness. And you gotta ask her how to make it right. Man, this is gonna be uncomfortable. For real? I was gonna go to the beach. So I probably avoided my mom for a couple of weeks. But the next time I saw her, we were alone. I sat her down. I told her what had happened. I told her what I did. And I asked for her forgiveness. And to my amazement, she didn't remember anything about it. She didn't remember the money being missing. She didn't remember the story about the car stereo. She had absolutely no clue. But she was like, John, to make this right, you gotta pay me back the $420 with interest. It's about 10 years, buddy. I believe it would have doubled in the stock market. Probably not, because this was probably shortly after 2008. Anyways, I said okay. The next time I saw her, I handed her $1,000. I'm not a thief. I don't steal. I was young and I was dumb. And I did something bad that was on my conscience for many years. And it felt really, really good to get it off. It felt really, really good to straighten that up. And I could have just kept on going along with everything. Nobody would have known the difference. Nobody would have been the wiser. My mom completely forgot about all of the money. And so what is this about? Well, JD, I cannot agree with you. My apologies. There's no way that I can keep this stuff private. So here's my indictment, and it will be followed by a summons. JD, and I only presume that this was on August 20th, 21st. No, I believe that this was from August 21st. I'll be very, very correct at court. So Friday, this is JD's. Friday, we decided to cut the head off the drama and relieve JC from participating in the public chat room. That room was created in February of 2020 for everyone, including Sean and others, not for only JC to teach. It's all about my teachings. All of the teachings you have, all of the teachings Sean has, all of the teachings JJ has. They don't just come from me, but a large part of them is from me. He was booted because he came into that room and acted as if it was okay to behave wrongly against people like Sean and anyone who doesn't agree with him. We have also changed the name to Natural Law Wisdom after a lengthy talk over the past few days. So you mean, first of all, who is this we? We decided, because this is your private chat group, like your most concentrated private chat group, and it doesn't really sound like y'all discussed it. So who is this we that decided? And what are these things that I'm doing so horrible to Sean? You mean holding court and getting public consent? And having a free and open society? That's being mean to Sean? But it's okay for Sean to disrespect women. It's okay for Sean to be Sean. Because he doesn't know any better. We just gotta let him be Sean. And he can't be respectful for 2 hours on Wednesday night. who's this we that decided all of this for the public chat room? It's unfortunate to have seen things play out like this because of the great amount of knowledge JC has shared, but I began to resonate more with what Sean had been telling us during the Kemp case. I had to step away from the very apparent ego control and manipulation drama. Me. The very apparent ego control and manipulation drama. If it was that apparent, if it was that obvious, why didn't you just bring an action against me in law like I brought against Sean? And in fact, if it's that apparent, if it's that obvious, bring the action now. Because my summons is going to be for 4 Wednesdays from this coming up Wednesday. So September 22nd will be the day for my summons to the court against you for an indictment of fraud against myself and the public. If you wish to show up. I don't know if you're going to. But if you wish, you can hold court on the 15th. You can bring your witnesses. I don't know exactly what you're going to do, but I'm sure that I'll have witnesses to testify on my behalf. And we can take a vote, and we can see how very apparent in law this whole, let me get back to it, this whole ego, control, and manipulation drama is. And yeah, Sean had been telling us during the Kemp case, kind of sounds like Sean has been working behind my back, like I said when this whole thing started, that the whole thing that made me start to plot was the fact that I got the feeling that y'all were plotting against me. So everybody who said I was so wrong for plotting to try to save the public from your conspiracy, they were the ones conspiring first. I got it written in their own hand. I got the evidence. I got the proof now. That's why they're not showing up. That's why they're not going to come to court. Because they knew they'd rather work it out in private. And JD says, looking forward to this new alignment. It already feels good. Well, let me ask everybody, how good does it feel right now? Let me ask you, JD, how good does it feel right now? Like, I believe your last call had 9 participants on it, including you and JD, or JJ. How good does that feel? You know, because not only have y'all completely pushed me out, but Sean's not there. And when he is there, he's giving bad answers, and y'all still allow him to answer. What about apologizing and making right and repenting to all of the people that are going to get in trouble with bad answers? It's all about moving forward with the message, right? How good does it feel? Does this feel right? Does this feel good? It doesn't to me. Anyways, that's my indictment. That's my summons. If you wish to move against me in law, I welcome it. In fact, I'd prefer it. Anyways, I appreciate you giving me back the Just Conspiracy channel that was mine. That shouldn't have been an issue in the first place. But all the rest of the stuff you did with all of the fraud and all of the telling people different stories and all of the deciding things for people like the government, I don't appreciate that at all. And if we can't take care of these things in-house, don't ever ask the government to. Don't ever ask the government to. If you think my wrongdoing about talking about law in the group and performing law against Sean was so wrong, then I bet the state of Florida would call me a wrongdoer for how I helped you. I bet the IRS would call me a wrongdoer for how I helped Sean. I bet Christine's ex would call me a wrongdoer for the advice I gave. You see, because for y'all it seems like common law is this really good, great thing when it works out for you. But when you gotta be the one to uphold it, y'all just don't care so much. You'll just decide for the rest of us, and it'll be tyrannical law again. Statutory idol worship. Anyways, I wish I never had to do this video. We are just conspiracy, and we just wish to conspire with other good people of this planet to leave a better world for future generations than the world we all grew up in. One world love and peace. I'm going to start it off like this. When I was up in Tennessee, Sean was all like, man, I hope you don't think I'm working behind your back, I'm really not, I'm on your side, this and that. I didn't think anything of it, I figured it's like, this is his backyard, whatever. When I got done with being sick, like when I was starting to recover from COVID, and of course I called Sean, like he was actually one of the first calls that I made. And I don't remember if it was on the first call or the second call, I just don't remember. But, he was talking to me again about the same thing and how he was talking to you and JD, about basically saying this. And just with who I am fundamentally and my past experiences, like being on the street, you start hearing somebody talk about that, like that to you, and it's like, what's going on? You're setting me up. Something's going on.
I'm not following.
The way he was talking about how he was talking to you and saying what he said to me in Tennessee, which was that he hopes that I don't think he is working behind my back in some kind of way, that he's still my friend, he's still doing this, he's still doing that, he's just going a different direction. And honestly, like from my point, it's we are going to go a different direction. I personally, after having worked with Sean for 4 years, and you can think whatever you wish to think about Sean. Dude, I have had Sean tell me I'm going to hell on the show for what I believe in and the fact that I don't believe in his Christ.